We are back at it again. How's it going, everybody? This is my first video in quite some time. I actually haven't made a video all season until like October. That's my fault. It's been a few reasons. One of them being the inconsistency of a season we've had so far. Just when you thought they were good, they started sucking again, and then they started getting good again, and then sucking again. So it's been a very up and down. Never got the chance to really talk about one thing because there's been so much going on. But that's not really the main reason why I've been absent for these 6 months. A little personal news that I'm just going to share fast here. Back in January, I actually dealt with a very tough loss of my mother. She actually lost her battle to cancer. It's been tough, a lot of downs, but the love has been great for my personal life, and even on the social media. I had put the tweet out, just telling my story, and, got a lot of love. Even the Penguins social media team answered to it, so that's always great to see. But I've always enjoyed making these videos, and I think, just keeping my mind busy with them is the best thing for me right now. So I'm back, and unfortunately, we got to talk about this mess of a team we have with the Penguins. So let's just actually get right into that. They're really just crashing down right now. They look almost lifeless. And there's a few problems on this team. I'm going to address them. And first, I'm going to start with the goaltending. The goaltending has been so inconsistent this year. It's just so unfortunate because Jari was having a great year. He's just been so injured throughout the entire season. So that's given Casey DeSmith basically the starting job. I think he's played more games than Jari to this point. Just before Jari returned, he had 8 games in a row that he started. He was good in some, but obviously he wasn't great in all of them. This is a career backup goalie who's already inconsistent, and you're throwing him into the fire to be the team's starting goalie. At least they stayed in the race with DeSmith in the net. Now that Jari's back, I'm putting so much faith into him staying healthy to close out this season because the Penguins' playoff hopes is all in his hands, unfortunately. Basically, Jari's problem isn't about bad play. It's about staying healthy, because when he's healthy, I like when he's in the net. I'm comfortable as a fan, and I'm sure the players are comfortable. Now, on to the problem, the biggest problem, and it's the bottom 6 of this team. The worst bottom 6 I think we've had in the entire Crosby-Malkin era. It's one thing to have a weak bottom 6, but at least it'll produce you something eventually, right? A goal here, a goal there. But the Penguins, their bottom 6 is non-existent. They're a 2-line team. To win in today's game, you're going to need your occasional 3rd or 4th line goal. The Penguins are not getting an occasional 3rd or 4th line goal. You're banking on Crosby or Malkin driving play, the 35 and the 36-year-old. Jeff Carter's terrible. He shouldn't be your 3rd line center. He sinks every line he's on. And when he's on the ice, he's in the defensive zone 9 out of 10 times. And when he's in the offensive zone, he's not really creating much. Brock McGinn is an overpaid 4th liner and a pretty mediocre 4th liner, that being. You have Kasperi Kapanen, who was terrible last year, but I think he could be doing pretty good right now if you didn't have Brock McGinn and Jeff Carter right next to him, the 2 worst forwards on this entire roster, which overall creates one of the league's worst 3rd lines in hockey, one of the worst lines in general. And then you have the 4th line of Teddy Bluger, Josh Archibald, Ryan Poehling, but he's been injured a lot, so Drew O'Connor has been sliding in. I actually don't mind the 4th line. I think they can actually be pretty solid if your 3rd line was good. But because the 3rd line is terrible, the 4th line isn't going to bail them out. With a good 3rd line, your 4th line's job isn't really to score goals. You just want them to kill the clock, have good offensive zone shifts, just generate momentum. And that's what a lot of those Teddy Bluger, Zach Aston-Reese, and Brandon Tanev lines used to do. And this year's 4th line has been decent at that, but it doesn't matter because the 3rd line is complete garbage. You need that bottom 6 goal, and they haven't gotten anything this year. Brock McGinn had that weird stretch where he was scoring on every shot he took in October. I knew that wasn't going to last, but I didn't know it was going to be this bad. Go look at the guy's last 10 games, last 20 games. It's zeros on zeros on zeros. What is your purpose on this team? And you're getting paid almost $3 million. I'm sorry, if the guy was making $750K on your 4th line, he's a decent penalty killer, but he's not getting paid $750K, and he's on your 3rd line. So automatically, he's not a 3rd line player, and he's not a 2.7 whatever million dollar player, and it shows on the ice. Now, maybe with a decent center, he would produce a bit more, be a bit more use of that contract. It doesn't help that Jeff Carter's his damn center, but my frustration is now pointed at the man who constructed this, and that is Ron Hextall. I think Ron Hextall has done a bit of good. I loved his offseason of bringing back the core together on great contracts. I love last year his trade for Raquel and re-signing him. They're just beautiful work there. But at the end of the day, when you look at the full, complete picture and you see how this bottom 6 was constructed versus how it could have been if he made different choices, you absolutely bang your head on the wall and you have to point the finger because this was all Ron Hextall. Jeff Carter is his guy. Beautiful trade at the time. You didn't have to re-sign him to a 2-year deal when he was 36. You have Brock McGinn, who was chosen to replace Brandon Tanev after getting selected in the expansion draft. That has been a fail. Basically, what you'll have here is an overpaid, very, very bad bottom 6. And it's so bad that the guys on the top six cannot carry this team to a playoff spot. I think with this current team you have right now, you are missing the playoffs. And all the problems I've mentioned in this video all come through the one man, Ron Hextall. So he is the problem right now, and he has the chance to fix his problem, or at least attempt to fix them, right, via trading. But here's my problem with Ron Hextall, and I'm really banging my head on the wall with this. Let's look at Jim Rutherford for a second. He was terrible at the end. Like, the guy was making all sorts of stupidities, but what I respected from Jim Rutherford, he tried, he attempted, and when it failed, he immediately tried to fix it. Instead, you have Ron Hextall, who is watching every game, I hope, sees the problems, and is kind of stuck in the middle. The guy doesn't know if he wants to go all in or if he wants to rebuild. He said he doesn't want to move the first round pick. He's afraid to give up too much. So now we're at the point where you're saying to everybody, we're all in. The window is now. Right? You made that clear by re-signing the entire core in the summer, right? But then your actions don't follow that. This bottom six is a mess, and it won't be fixed this year, unfortunately, because Ron Hextall doesn't seem like he can get creative. He doesn't want to give up too much, and none of those guys have any value. No one's taking him again or Carter. Maybe they'll take a Kapanen, but even then, the guy makes $3 million. No GM has cap right now. The bottom six won't become great overnight. You're not going to bring an HBK line like that. You won't. There won't be a Phil Kessel available for you to play on your third line. They won't get a Stanley Cup championship type of roster, but what they can get is maybe just to salvage that bottom six. Get a piece in there to help with that secondary scoring. Just do something. Show the respect to your generational superstar talent players who've won this organization 3 Stanley Cups, a ton of success in these last 2 decades. You have to show them some sort of respect, because Crosby, Malkin are both point per game centers in year 18 or 17 or whatever. And you're going to do them like this. You're going to give them this bottom six to work with. At this point, forget winning a cup, forget all that. You just got to respect these guys, because they don't want to miss out on the playoffs in April. They want to be there. Help them out. Just help them out. Do anything in your power to show them you're helping them. In my opinion, that first round pick got to be on the table. Now, I'm not saying do a Ryan O'Reilly trade and, trade it for a rental. No, but find a guy with some term that helps you right now and can help you tomorrow. You don't have to keep your first round pick just to say, we don't want to, ruin the future or whatever they're trying to do. Just because you're trading your first round pick doesn't mean you're ruining your future. You're not trading the first for a 35-year-old Patrick Kane or whatever. You could trade for a 25, 26-year-old with 2 or 3 years left on his deal, a guy that another team is willing to move, a guy that can fit in nicely with this team and help you win tomorrow too. And, the first round pick either way is going to be ready to play in 3-4 years? You think the Penguins are going to be good in 3-4 years? This is most likely Crosby and Malkin's last point per game season. Maybe Crosby has one more, but I'm willing to bet Malkin takes a little bit of a step back next year. I mean, the guy's 36. Just overall frustrating times, because you see this great top six followed by a terrible bottom six and a general manager that just isn't doing anything about it. Now, I'm hoping we can eat our own words in about a week or two and Ron Hextall surprises and makes a few good trades. But until that happens, I'm a very frustrated fan, and I'm hoping he can prove all of us wrong. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think this mess is fixable by Ron Hextall, or are we just screwed? Let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.